Good morning and happy Thursday, or as my friend Stephen, who works with us here, told me in the parking lot today, happy Friday Eve, depending on how you want to look at it. So we're so glad to open the show with you, knowing that you're enjoying some time as you watch us today. And we've got a big smile on our faces because I was sitting up here on the sofa talking to somebody, and I can see this person walk in the studio, and I look around the camera, and what do I see first but a turkey hat? And I knew it had to be Mark Hite, not because he's a turkey, but because he loves supporting the Grateful Gobbler. So
absolutely. Good morning, and yes, we love the Grateful Gobbler. You know, because it is Thanksgiving Day. You know, it is a day we spend with families, but it is this unique opportunity for families to come together, come out to Coolidge Park on the morning, 8 to 11 walk, GratefulGobblerWalk.org, and help raise money and awareness for the McClellan Shelter for Families.
I should say, since you mentioned the website, and I think we're talking about the Grateful Gobbler again next week. We've had a conversation already with Jay Dale and his wife. But you don't, if you can't be there, if you have Thanksgiving plans that pull you away, I think you can still go to GratefulGobbler.org and you can contribute.
Absolutely, and that's because I spend Thanksgiving with my mother in Kentucky every year. But we financially support the Grateful Gobbler because the important work that they do with the McClellan Shelter for Families, which is the only shelter that keeps families together, Julie.
So it's a perfect tie-in on the biggest family day practically of the year. Continues to be the one where everybody wants to travel home to be together. So in your business, that's what you're trying to fulfill for your clients, right? That home for the holidays? You
know, I just had a lady yesterday that said, you know, I really would like to get settled into a new house for Thanksgiving. She said, but it's too late. And that was my inspiration to kind of talk about this today. It's not too late. If you want a new home for the holidays, maybe you've outgrown it, you've had babies, and you really want to have the family in, but you don't have room. Or maybe you're in a downsizing situation, you're in a big house, and it just doesn't fit anymore. You know, we can get you into that perfect house for the holidays.
So what is the typical market time now?
It's a great question. So the average days on the market is still running 36 days on the market.
Okay.
So literally, you know, if we got together next week and talked about the house, got it on the market, you know, in all likelihood, we could get it sold by Thanksgiving. At least get you in by Christmas. You
know, okay, so here's something, everybody's different, right? So my thing personally would be, I would want to be able to enjoy my house one last time at the holidays, or not have the strain of it. So I had asked you that question once before when you were here. You can, if both parties are agreeable to that, you can buy and sell a house and then just pay rent to the new owner, right?
Boy, that was a great segue. We have one in Falling Water that is that exact scenario.
Oh, I did not
where
know that.
The couple, no, we just got it worked out over the weekend, where the couple are building a new house. You know, they want to do this their last Christmas, last Thanksgiving in the home. So we're closing October 27th, and they're renting back from the new owners. And that particular buyer is going to put she's going to spend Christmas with her family last time because she's a downsizer. And she's staying in her house through Christmas, and we're going to put her house on the market the week after Christmas.
Well, because, I mean, I will again speak from experience here, or my own personal view, but it is fairly quick, the 36 days. That's the average. So there's a lot of emotion that's tied up with moving, and this time of year has that. But nobody knows what's going to happen with interest rates. So if you want to lock in on something now, you've got that protection.
Absolutely do. And you know, the opportunity to get locked in and, you know, marry the home and date the rate, because there's lots of opportunities with buy downs where a seller can buy down an interest rate for the first couple of years to minimize that payment, then refinance as rates do start to come down. You know, rates historically, if you look at the last 30 years, rates always decline during presidential election years.
So, okay, let me ask you, I've asked you to clarify this buy down thing before, and I'm going to ask you again because, you know, my older daughter got married, so they're thinking of buying a house, and you have to save a lot longer, I think, these days than you used to. So I was kind of shocked, Mark, when I crunched some numbers in the bank rate calculator for what a mortgage would look like. So talk about that buy down.
So it's really, it has evolved and become very popular with rates, you know, in the 7s now. Because what takes place is Mr. Seller contributes at the closing table to buy down the rate for the first 2 years. So real simple. If rates are 7 1/4, today when they lock in. The first year, your payment would be based on 5 1/4, 2 percentage points. The second year, it's brought down 1 percentage point, so it's 6 1/4.
Okay.
And so the payment really can be hundreds of dollars less,
Right.
depending on obviously how much you're borrowing, and it's a seller contribution, so it doesn't cost the buyer any additional money, but it really helps get a buyer into a home.
Okay, I like to throw numbers around, and so play a game with me. Let's suppose that the house, just make an arbitrary figure, $300,000.
Yeah, I mean,
So what is the seller, and let's suppose that the seller owes at the moment $80,000 left on the mortgage.
Yeah.
Right, and they sell it for $300,000. So what are they going to pay at closing?
they're going to pay about 2% of the purchase price, so somewhere between $6,000 and $8,000
Okay.
to buy down that rate
For the 2 years.
for the 2 years.
Well, that's not bad if they're A, selling the house quickly,
Yep.
and B, getting their asking price.
That is exactly the win-win. And the third win is that the buyer can minimize their payment. They have to qualify at that whatever today's current interest rate is.
Okay.
But they're going to have the benefit for the first 2 years of physically having a lower payment.
Okay, let's talk about the qualifying
Yeah.
side of it. If you're a buyer right now, I heard somebody say in a conversation recently that it was becoming a little bit trickier to get qualified these days. Are you seeing that?
You know, if you pay your bills on time,
Yeah.
You've got a good credit score, you know, you've got some savings for your down payment, you know, the standards are the standards. You know, if you've got a 580 credit score, you're not going to get a loan.
Okay.
You know, but if you've got a 680 and above, there's lots of opportunities. And we've had several VA loans, it seems, you know, people using that benefit here the last few months because we've been at war for so long, Julie. There's lots of veterans out there that have that benefit that in some cases they've never used.
Yeah. Oh, my husband's a veteran.
Really?
Yeah. We've used the VA loan.
And you can use it repeatedly.
Yes. Not at the same time.
Not at the same time.
Yes.
But as you buy and sell, you know, there is that opportunity.
Yes. Okay. In terms of the market in general, are you liking what you see? Are you still happy that houses are not completely inflating in value? It's pretty controlled.
You know, the average and median price are increasing at about 3% this year.
Which is normal.
Which is normal. So if you've been sitting there, because if you're looking at the statistics and you know, hearing me here or reading it in the paper, sales are declining compared to the previous year. But the reason sales are declining is because we don't have enough inventory, because so many Americans they feel locked in to a low interest rate below 4%.
Right.
And so consequently, when they start to think about rebuying, they're like, oh my goodness, 7%. But Julie, the key is how much equity they have in their home, because values have not rolled back.
Yeah.
So
Right.
they've got more money to put down or maybe pay cash, like your scenario there. Maybe they only owe 80 and
Right.
their house is worth 300. You know, they've got a couple $100,000 in equity.
Right.
And you don't know that until we sit down at the kitchen table.
So here's what's fun about Mark. I know at our house we have conversations a lot, my husband and I will, if there's something that we want, and we'll say, yeah, but there's got to be a way. This makes too much sense. There's got to be a way. And that's kind of what you do with your business model. There's got to be a way. And that's what you're finding with the points buy down, the interest
Absolutely.
rate buy down, and that kind of thing.
And the key piece, I have a second appointment on Saturday with a couple that they're going to downsize, that we're going to put it on the market after Christmas, but they wanted to go ahead and understand now what their opportunity, how much equity do they really have. So don't delay, don't wait till next year. If you've been thinking about moving next year, let's go ahead and get together now so you can make some plans and really start to wonder if this is my last Christmas in this house.
Very good. I'm going to compliment myself as I give people your contact information, because I didn't once get distracted by the little turkey gobble that hangs down and talking to you today. Okay, Mark Hite at the Mark Hite team. So markhitehomes.com is the website. The office number is 265-0088. He would love to talk to you. And then please don't forget to register in some form or fashion for the Grateful Gobbler and help the McClellan family shelter for families.
Absolutely.
Thank you.